Good day, everyone. I'm Vitality Coach Andrew, and welcome to this edition of Pride in Sports, a series where we can discuss and celebrate our athlete stories and successes. Our mission is to eliminate stigma in sports and shine a light on our LGBTQ heroes and role models, to inspire a new generation of people that can relate to our guests and be proud of who they are in the sport that they love. I'm very excited. You probably heard their dog just now. Yeah, I'm very excited to be joined by our power couple, fresh from Tokyo Paralympics. Please welcome Team GB wheelchair basketball players, Laurie Williams and Robyn Love. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Yes, we got we must apologize to one. We're sorry a little bit late. We had some technical issues, but we are here now. Fantastic. How are you guys? First of all, congratulations on Tokyo. How was it?
Yeah, oh, thanks, Andrew. It was good. It was a fantastic experience. We came home a little bit disappointed, having not really achieved what we wanted to. Unfortunately, we got knocked out in the quarterfinals, and that was a bit of a tough one to take. And it just takes a long period of reflection, and just to realise actually out there it was phenomenal. We had a great time, and it's hard as an athlete to say winning isn't everything, because it really is, but you have to kind of get over it at some point.
Oh, but what was the experience like? Because again, I'm going to ask Laurie, because you done Rio, didn't you? So was this totally different because of the whole pandemic, or how different was it?
Yeah, so we both went to Rio. I went to London as well, so
That's
this
what I
is
meant. Sorry.
my third Paralympics and Rob's second. Yeah, and it was a very peculiar atmosphere. Obviously, nobody was there. The stadiums were empty. There were really strict kind of COVID protocols in place to keep everybody safe, obviously. So we got used to wearing a mask 24/7 and kind of really, really being careful with ourselves. And I think in our sport in general, we don't usually get a lot of spectators. So when the Paralympics comes along, we're like, yes, because always at sellout, all the events at Paralympics are sellout, which is fantastic. So we kind of look forward to it thinking like these are the biggest crowds we get, because we get thousands of people. So it is a shame, because for us it's the biggest stage of our career. So it felt strange, and I think we especially, with our games, we did miss the support of our friends and family there with us, because they do offer so much advice, and it's nice to see a familiar face if you've won or lost, to be honest. So it was tough not having people we knew there, especially.
I bet. I do apologize. Yes, Robyn, I wasn't taking anything away from you. I was meant to say London, but you are both in Rio. That's right. So let's talk about how growing up then. So how did wheelchair rugby come about? I mean, if I'm being really honest, before London 2012 Paralympics, I probably didn't even realize that it was something that went on. So was it introduced as an early age thing, or was it later on in life for you guys?
Well, for me, to be honest, I found out about basketball the same time as you did. So I didn't know about parasport until I saw it during London 2012. Funnily enough, watching Laurie, little did I know. I know, right? Crazy. So for me, it was that media that Channel 4 did was so powerful. That kind of London legacy, I think, has really driven the Paralympic movement forward, especially in our country. And just like the value that we put on it as a nation has grown and grown over the years. And from discovering it in 2012 to then going to Rio 4 years later, a very quick journey for me, I think. But grateful to Channel 4 and the BBC and all of the kind of media outlets that showed it to the world, showed it to the UK, so that anyone can see it and anyone can realise, hey, maybe this is for me, because that's what happened to me anyway.
And yeah, I mean, that is a brilliant. I really want to come back to that in a second. That is a brilliant. Laurie, how about you? How did this come about for you?
Yeah, so my experience is quite different to Rob's. I've been a wheelchair user since I was a tiny tot, really. So used the chair all my life, and it was really challenging at school trying to join in with PE lessons. I know that nowadays they're a lot better at being more inclusive and trying to pick activities that anybody can get in. Even if if you're talented in a different way, anybody can get involved. But when I was at school, it wasn't like that. It was kind of like, well, you know, just try, and you know, if you can push a little bit, try. And it was just, I really didn't enjoy it. And I think I was quite athletic naturally. So my parents were like, well, she's interested, because I was interested in football. Like I loved watching it with my dad, but I couldn't, there was no way for me to get involved. So my brother used to do athletics actually at the local athletics club. So my mum was like, well, you know, you can go and push in your chair alongside him. And this was probably when I was about 11. And the club they did everything they could. They were like, oh, well, you know, we can set it up for Laurie so she can do a slalom, and, you know, really tried to get me involved. And that eventually led me to go into the Greater Manchester Youth Games. They had a really small, like, disability sports section at the time, and there was just a few kids plucked from everywhere that were just, like, going up and down against each other. You know, and I enjoyed it. And it was at that event that I got spotted by a local wheelchair basketball coach. Her name was Josie Chikowski, and she was a bit of a legend in the wheelchair basketball world. And she was like, what are you doing? You need to come out and try wheelchair basketball. This is rubbish. You're far too good. I was like, and I was like, oh God, okay. So, you know, my mum took me along on a Sunday, and it just completely opened my eyes and changed my view of what I thought I was capable of. Because I'd never met any of the children with disabilities before, you know, and they were there like bashing into each other and playing basketball and enjoying each other's company. And it was so vital for my independence, because that's what they encourage. Like when you join a club like that, they were like, right, no, your mum can't help you with that, do it on your own.
Wow.
And it was, yeah, it was amazing. And they said, you know, if you work hard, like you could go anywhere, you can go all over the world. And that's what happened. And honestly, I can't emphasize the importance of getting into a disability sport, because it really does wonders for your confidence.
Brilliant. And like I said, I'm going to go, Robyn said just now about how things have changed. So dare I ask, am I allowed to ask, okay, how old are you guys? I just want to talk about time frames. So for me, I'm 40. So when I was at school, we did have, like I say, disability at school, but I just want to see progression. So have you guys noticed a big change? So Laurie, from when you were at school to the new generation of children coming through now, is things progressing dramatically when it comes to sports?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, I'm 29, so I was at school a fair few years ago now. But like I said, it was so hard to get involved. And now, like, we will go and run sessions at schools. You know, if we take the chairs along, basketball chairs or whatever sport they're doing, and the kids get to have a go. And you know, more than often, you'll find kids be like, "Oh, I tried that at school," and it's like, wow, you know, that's incredible, because you know, obviously it's sometimes challenging to get the equipment, but the great thing about wheelchair basketball is anybody can play it. You can be able-bodied and you can sit in a chair and play it. It's not like you're in a wheelchair, so unfortunately you have to sit at the sides. You can get everybody involved, and you know, I think if schools kind of try and incorporate it more, more children will be exposed to it, and they'll realise that, you know, no matter your ability, anybody can get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I think they do like one-off tasters, etc. But I would love to see it worked into the curriculum, where you know, wheelchair basketball is a mandatory like part of PE, or you know, there's so many sports like bocce. I absolutely love bocce, and it's one of those you can do inside, outside. Anyone can play it. So I feel like the para sport is becoming more of like household, like more people know about it. So why not get more people involved? Like Laurie said, especially wheelchair basketball. The schools, there actually is a school tournament. They go to the school games. Both able-bodied people and people with kids with disabilities are on the teams. But not only that, they actually invented a new game called Inclusive Zone, where you just split up the basketball court so that two people in chairs and then two able-bodied people are on the same team, competing against another team, and they actually have schools competing against each other doing that. And again, could that be not, you only need 4 chairs. You don't need 12 chairs, you just need 4. So is there a way that schools can merge that into the curriculum somehow, just to not just normalise it as a sport, but normalise able-bodied people getting into basketball chairs? Because to me, it's just a sport, just like rugby, just like football. It's just a sport for everybody to play.
But to be fair, I mean, I play rugby and I'm watching you guys, and that's brutal sometimes. So I think I've got a tough game to play, but yeah, it's fearless. That's what I see when you guys play. It's just fearless. And I mean, I don't want to put anyone off. Do you get injured much?
I've personally not ever been injured from playing. You get like little niggles from maybe training a lot, just like all athletes do. But I know that Laurie's still got a bruise in her elbow from Tokyo. Because I tell you what, the referee in it was a lot. You know, you would think it was wheelchair rugby watching it sometimes. Because Laurie, I think, flew out of her chair more than any of us. So if you can watch them back and watch some of those in slow motion, you'll see her flying across the court a few times.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to like improve on your upper body, it's fantastic for that. You know, like people always see us and say, "Oh, you must, do some kind of sport because you've got these massive shoulders and big biceps and triceps and everything." So, if you want an upper body workout, it's great for that.
And during, like, say, building up to it, you guys had to like train from home, and so I did see your little garage area of where you did your little workout. So yeah, that must have been quite difficult because, like I say, looking at a garage door and doing your cycling is not the most exciting thing to be looking at. So that must have been quite tough.
Oh yeah, it was challenging, and I think it was challenging for everybody. But obviously, some athletes, they do sports where they can, get out on the bike and just cycle. And unfortunately, with basketball anyway, it's you play on a court, you play with 5, 10 other people. So it was really tough for us to think like, how can I be in the best place and shape possible to go to Paralympics? And when I can't really like dribble a ball and stuff like that. And obviously you can access stuff outside, but the Great British weather sometimes is against us. So I think we were extremely grateful that we had one another, because sometimes motivating yourself can be tough. So we kind of use each other to be like, right, come on, I know it looks horrible outside, but we need to get out and do a bit of pushing or like work on our ball skills and stuff like that. So we're very grateful to have each other at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And putting the garage together, that was kind of my project, tidying it out and putting the wheels on the wall. And luckily, it's quite difficult actually to try and find upper body cardio equipment, because you can get an exercise bike for like £50 off Argos or something. But if you want to get any kind of upper body cardio, you're looking at like £1,000 plus. It's absolutely crazy. So fortunately, we scoured the internet and found a hand bike on eBay. But honestly, like it's such a challenge for people with disabilities who can't use their legs to try and find cardio equipment. I got a rowing machine for like £100, but we had to spend £500 on a hand bike for Laurie, and fortunately we found it. But because I know the government were doing great schemes where people can get cheaper bikes and cheaper this, and it's like, well, what, we can't cycle a bike, So for us, we were very grateful that we found that and managed to kit out our wee garage gym, and we weren't too cold. We had to put a few jumpers on, but it wasn't too bad.
Brilliant. I want to jump back to what we said just now. Robyn, you touched on it very, very quickly. So let's talk about how you guys got together. First of all, Robyn, I'm really interested. So you first saw Laurie at the Olympics. So you didn't know each other before?
No, so like I'm guessing, so I must have been watching her, because obviously at that time in 2012, I was 22 years old at uni. So my teammate, I was playing running basketball at that time. Because one thing I didn't know was that you don't need to be in a day chair all the time to play wheelchair basketball. Which actually a lot of people do think that, even now, with all of the kind of education that we've tried to put out, like Paralympics GB have tried to put out, I think it's still like a myth that you have to use a day chair, and I was one of those people. But yeah, so I must have been watching Laurie, because my teammate at the time was like, oh, could you play that? And I was like, yeah, I guess I could. And we sat down, we watched it for a while, and little did I know that 3 years later we would be together.
Oh my gosh, so Laurie, you inspired Robyn.
Don't tell her that.
Incredible.
Don't tell her that.
Yeah, I think it sounds nice for her to say, oh, I was watching Laurie, but when I'm like grill her a bit, like, oh, well, do you think I was any good? She'd be like, oh, well, I remember, seeing the team, and it was like she didn't remember seeing me at all. But...
There was a few of them with a fringe at that time, so could have been any of them.
I think that is incredible. So so you watched Laurie, obviously there's an interest there. How did you join the club first, Robyn, or did you? I'm just really intrigued if you're allowed to talk about it, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started to play in 2014 because, again, the myth, I thought you had to be in a day chair until I then found out that you didn't. So I got in contact with Basketball Scotland and said, hey, I want to try this. I want to play basketball. How do I do that? And I went along to like a come and try day, and I loved it. And I just got involved. And from there, you know, it was a woman called Tina Gordon, who still works for Basketball Scotland, really pushed me to improve. And less than a year later, I went to my first GB camp, and that's where I met Loz. And it was a Christmas camp, and we were rooming together. And we had a camp before Christmas, and then after Christmas as well, in between New Year and Christmas. So it was quite full on. So in that time, we were rooming together, and we just got to know each other, didn't we? Yeah, and then Laurie was actually in Alabama at the time, playing at the university. So we actually got together long distance while she was away at Alabama. And then we did the classic lesbian U-Haul move, and we moved in together in Worcester when the programme centralised with one of our teammates, so we kind of softened it a bit. So we moved in together in the June of 2015.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Oh, and just people know that little bark, you have got a dogger Whiskey. She is gorgeous. So, see, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, just these random noises that keep popping up. There's a reason why. There's a little pup over there.
She likes to be involved. So.
She's so sweet, so sweet. Okay, for people that don't know, you guys are actually engaged. I love the story. So who proposed to who? There you go.
Yeah, so Robyn was actually the one that proposed. And anyone that knows us would be like, oh, really? Like, she's not the best organizer.
No, I'm not.
But how, I know where the proposal was taking place. So was it difficult, Robyn? Laurie, did you have any clue?
Not a clue at all, honestly, not a clue.
Yeah, she didn't have a clue at all. So, at the time we were due to go to Japan on a tournament. This was February 2020, so just before COVID kind of hit. So we were going to Japan on a tournament, and Laurie headed out beforehand a few days before me. So I managed to plan a few things then, because usually we train together, we eat together, we sleep. So, you know, usually I don't get time to plan things by myself. But so she was away, so I managed to organise a few things. And for her birthday, which is in February, I said, oh, I'll take you away on holiday after we get back from Japan. So I booked a holiday. You didn't know we were going, did you?
No.
So she didn't know where we were going. So I booked a holiday to Paris because it's her favourite city. And I actually hadn't really been properly on a holiday before. So and we love the programme Versailles. So I booked a few nights in Versailles. We went to the palace, it was beautiful. And then I booked a few nights in kind of the city centre to go, you know, do touristy things. So we get back from Japan. Our plane arrives late. So we have to go from London to Manchester after a 12-hour flight and a delay. And then we have to get changed, get back to Manchester airport, get on a flight, go. So by this time I'm like, oh, she's not going to be in the mood. She's not going to get proposed to. She's going to, you know, jet lag is going to take over. She's not going to be impressed. But luckily, you know, it was a really lovely trip the first few days in Versailles. And I booked us like a croissant making class, which was quite cool. So after that, we went to the Eiffel Tower, and I had my ring with me the whole time. You know, just like I hadn't planned when and where, I just knew it was going to be in front of the Eiffel Tower. And we got to the front of the Eiffel Tower, and it wasn't very busy. Like, we were quite fortunate, I think, that it wasn't that busy, because Laurie wouldn't have liked it if loads of people were watching, trust me. Okay. So you can actually see the video on my Instagram if you scroll down a wee bit, because she thought I was taking a picture. You know, I got this selfie stick tripod, you know, and I was a total loser, like dad, like setting up the tripod like for pictures and stuff. So I'd planned it quite well, and I set up this tripod, and I was like, oh, this looks nice, let's do it here. And it was up on some grass, and trying to convince Loz to push up onto the grass. If you watch the video, you'll see her face just being like, I'm not happy. So, and then I just did it there and then. So it was a moment where she was really unhappy with me making her push up onto this grass and get a picture taken. How embarrassing! But then it turned into obviously a really nice moment, and I've honestly got no idea what I said. I think it was just one of those. I was, excited and scared and happy, so you just kind of forget. But it was great.
Oh, amazing. So no date has been set yet then? Just,
No,
well, clearly we all know she said yes. So yeah.
yeah, because I said no. It was obviously a lot happened well, it turned out to be a long space of time now with COVID and everything and the Paralympics, and we just didn't really find the time to sit down and plan a wedding, and weddings kept getting postponed and cancelled, and we weren't getting great vibes. So, but we're quite laid back people anyway, and we're not like into big events, and we're pretty chilled out. So I think we're just like taking it easy and like waiting for the wind to kind of blow us in the right direction, and then it just kind of happens almost, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely want to have a small affair. I've got quite a big family, and you can never please everybody, I think. So as long as we are kind of a few people, whiskey's there, and just like a relaxed day with some nice food, to me that just sounds like perfection.
Well, congratulations. It's an awesome story. And yes, I'm glad everyone else at home managed to hear the story as well. So going forward then, we are running out. Oh my God, we're running out of time already. The future for you guys. So Laurie, are you both doing Paris 2024, or are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, sure, we're allowed to talk about it. I think, obviously we're in Paralympic sport terms, we're not, that old, in able-bodied sport, you kind of peak a lot earlier, your early 20s or even, whereas in disability sport, I don't know why, but you tend to peak a lot later in terms of athletic ability. So I think it's definitely within our, what's the word I'm looking for?
Realm of possibility.
Yeah, to go to one of the games. I think, a lot of it in Paralympic sport anyway, it depends on funding, and if the program remains on funding and if we can kind of afford to go. But it's looking like, we love competing, we love our job really, so I think it would be a shame for us not to go, and obviously I love Paris, so
yeah, of course you love Paris.
I've got to go back.
Yeah,
and we can reenact it for the team.
And Robyn, you've got some exciting news about representing Scotland, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Commonwealth Games are next year, and 3x3, that means 3v3 wheelchair basketball is going to be in it for the first time, and Scotland, that means have an opportunity to qualify. So for us, I've no Christmas puds for me this year, because I've got a tournament in between Christmas and New Year up in Scotland, a qualifying tournament for the Commonwealth Games. So I am unbelievably excited to have the opportunity to represent Scotland, and we've got a great kind of squad kind of set up once selection kind of happens. So I'm really excited about that opportunity. But before that, we've also got the European Championships with GB at the start of December in Madrid. So no rest for the wicked, unfortunately. This December, yeah.
Okay.
It was meant to be this summer, but unfortunately, obviously, the Paralympics and Olympics got postponed, so the Europeans had to get moved forward to December. So Madrid in December, not bad, is it? So hopefully we get selected for that tournament, and we get to kind of have an opportunity to show how resilient we are and show what we can really do as a team on the European stage, because the top teams like Germany and Holland and Spain, we have another opportunity to go against them and really take to the court, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
You two really are a power couple. Honestly, brilliant. The past, now, and what you're going to do, it's just so inspiring, just brilliant. So if anyone out there is wanting to try any sports, or just do it, listen to these guys. And Robyn, just by watching the Olympics, has changed your life. And yeah, I'm going to say it again, Laurie, you inspired Robbie. I will say that. But listen, guys, we have run out of time. That's gone so quick. So how can people get hold of you on socials?
Oh, so mine is Robyn_love13. That's on Twitter and Instagram. What's yours?
Yeah, mine's similar, different name obviously, but it's Laurie_Williams8.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Nice one. And if you want to get involved in parasport, just head to the Parasport website or Paralympics GB, and you can find your local club, whatever sport it is, you can find whatever kind of local club is providing that sport and do it, because honestly, whether you have a disability or not, parasport is an amazing community to be part of.
Fantastic. Guys, we could talk for an hour more, but I'm so sorry to everyone that we were slightly delayed, but technical issues. But honestly, guys, thank you so much for spending time with us and let us into your world. And from us, thank you for everything you've done for Team GB and taking part in this. It's been a huge help. Thank you so much. And if you're watching, if you want to follow any more of our content, look at Whiskey, bless her. Please like and subscribe our content, and we'll be doing more interviews soon, and we do workouts all the time. So from me and you guys, thank you so much, and take care. Thank you very much again, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.